If you've ever lost your job or you suddenly lost your income, it can feel like your world has fallen to pieces. But the decisions you take within the first 48 hours will determine whether you survive or whether you fall into further financial chaos. Today, I'm going to show you exactly how to create a layer of survival blueprint that will keep you afloat until your next big opportunity. Stick around. Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Josh and I help regular people understand complex finance topics and take control of their finances. Within the first 48 hours, after a layoff announcement, before you panic or make any irrational decision, we need to do a financial audit so you can know where exactly you stand. This is a crucial step one to your survival. First, calculate your liquid cash. And this is all the monies you have in your emergency fund, all the monies you have in your savings account, the monies you have in your money market account, the money you have in your high interest savings account, or in any account that is within reach. That is your liquid cash. So calculate that number, save it up somewhere. That is your financial lifeline. The next thing you want to do is review your severance package. And this step is where a lot of people get it wrong. You see, your severance package has a lot of fine details that a lot of people tend to gloss over. They are in a hurry to sign the severance and move on from the company. But don't be one of those people. Review your severance package. This would include things like how much lump sum you're entitled to, when your payment is going to come, how your payment is going to come, are you entitled to any form of insurance or whatever benefits that will accrue to you upon your termination from this company. So if you have questions on your severance package, at this point, before you sign, you can ask the HR to clarify any points you have to clarify on, or you can also speak to an employment lawyer to get further clarity on your next step. The final thing you must do within the first 48 hours is to file for employment insurance. If you live in Canada, this employment insurance provides you up to 55% of your average weekly earnings up until a maximum of $695 as of 2025. And you can do this through the Service Canada website, or maybe you go to the Service Canada office. Don't be shy to do this. Don't feel ashamed. You need to file for employment insurance within the first 48 hours or within the first week after you've been laid off. You've been paying for this through your payroll deduction, so it's still your money. So file for employment insurance. Very important. The next stage is to figure out how you're going to survive going forward. Now, this part is where a lot of people get it wrong because they try to maintain their old lifestyle on their previous earnings. Don't forget, you've just been laid off. Income is not going to come in as quickly or as regularly as it was coming in before until you get a new job, that is. So at this point, you want to calculate your survival number. This is how much you need to spend on a weekly, on a monthly basis to keep your life going. You need to break down your expenses into two main categories. One, your critical expenses. Two, your discretionary expenses. And it's as the name implies. Critical expenses are things like your utilities, your rent or mortgage if you're paying a mortgage, your insurance, your transport cost, your food budget, or if you have debts that you're currently repaying, any expense that your life absolutely depends on is a critical expense. And you need to be very, very honest with yourself when determining what is a critical expense. This is not the time to just fool yourself or make yourself believe that your chocolates or your ice cream is a critical expense. No, we're talking about serious business. Critical expenses are things that you must spend on to keep yourself going on a week in, week out basis. Next, we need to calculate how long your financial lifeline can carry you for. Remember your survival lifeline that we calculated earlier, where we said you should calculate all your cash savings. You have that number divided by your critical expenses, and it will give you the number of months that your financial lifeline can carry you for. This represents your financial runway. Now that we've calculated your burn rates, which is how much money you need to spend on a monthly basis to keep your life, going, the next thing we must do is to figure out how to keep that money available for as long as possible. Bear in mind that any savings that you can make at this point in time will extend the availability of that runway for as long as possible. So it's important to know how to strategize and to manage your money at this point. Housing is your biggest expense. So if you're renting and you've been a good tenant, very important. If you're renting and you've been a good tenant, you can tap into that relationship and approach your landlord and say, hey, listen, I'm going through a hard time right now. Could you give me a rent relief for a couple of months? If the landlord is reasonable and they don't want to go through the eviction process, they can either freeze your rent for a couple of months or ask you to defer payments until you're back on your feet for a few months, or they can reduce the amount you pay for rent or just put you on a payment plan. Don't forget that this is also at the discretion of the landlord, so they may or may not give in to your request, but it's still an option for you to try. On the other hand, if you have a mortgage, you can approach your mortgage provider and tell them that you're looking at financial hardship assistance, so where you can go through the different details to see what options are available to you. They can either freeze your mortgage payments for a couple of months or ask you to pay a reduced amount on your mortgage, or a combination of different options that is available. What you really don't want to do is to miss out on your mortgage payments because you didn't try to explore the available options. So talk to your financial provider and see what options are available to you today. The next thing you want to do is to check out your insurance. That's your health insurance, So if you had a private insurance from your previous employer, see if you can negotiate for extended insurance coverage. Some employers usually offer 2 months coverage after termination. Some offer 3 months. If you can extend that coverage for as much as 6 months to a year through negotiation, you should definitely explore that. If that option is not available, check the provincial offers. I know Canada, we have national health insurance in Canada, and see if there are any additional costs you need to pay for things like dental, for prescription drugs, or for any supplements that you have going on for yourself. Make sure you know what expenses that are coming up from your health insurance and ensure that you have sufficient coverage for them. So you don't want your health to suffer because you have a job loss. If you're paying off any debts, maybe credit card, line of credit, or personal loans, and you have a good payment history, you can also call the credit card companies, or you can call the bank or your creditor and let them know that you will require financial hardship assistance. Some of them have provisions for delayed payments or reduced payments, or just to freeze your payment obligation until an agreed period, maybe when you get back to your feet. If you also have student loans, the National Student Loan Service Center has a payment plan that you can tap into. Just make sure you reach out and explore the different options available to delay your payment expectations for as long as possible. Earlier on in this video, we talked about discretionary spending, which are the very nice things you spend on, like subscription, sweet treats, dining out, all those smaller amounts. Now, what you want to do to maximize your runway is to pull up your bank statement and review the last 3 to 6 months of your spending. In there, you see things like subscriptions that you really don't need. If you have multiple subscriptions, for Disney, Hulu, Netflix, Apple TV, YouTube Premium, if you have multiple, please cut them down. You only need one. If you also have gym subscriptions that you don't need, now is a good time to let go of those ones. So if you review your bank statements for the last 3 to 6 months and cut out things that you're spending on that you really don't need, you can save as much as $150 to $500 a month going forward. And this will extend your runway for as long as you can possibly imagine. So far in this video, we've talked about your financial lifeline, we've talked about your survival burn rate, we've also talked about how much you need to cut down on wasteful spending. But the plan of this video is not to keep you playing small. The plan of this video is not to keep you in survival mode for as long as possible. No. The plan also includes how to get money in going forward. Remember that cost cutting and savings, that is just playing defense. Now it's time to play offense, which is getting money in, getting money flowing back into your pocket. The first thing you want to do, like I mentioned earlier, is to file for employment insurance. That is money that's going to be paid to you on a bi-weekly basis by the government because of the insurance deductions that have been made from your account. So don't be shy, don't feel any form of shame in filing for employment insurance. To do this, you need to go to Service Canada with your social insurance number and your record of employment. Sometimes, or in most cases, your employer will send a record of employment directly to Service Canada, and they will have that record waiting for you. So file for employment insurance, like I mentioned, you can get up to 55% of your average insurable weekly earnings, up to a maximum of $695 per week. And you can get this paid out to you for a period of 14 to 55 weeks, depending on where you live and how long you've worked for. The second tactic is to negotiate your severance. Remember that severance package that was offered to you? Don't be in a hurry to sign it. Read the details. If you have questions, ask the HR to clarify, or you can speak to an employment lawyer. If you have any further requests in your severance, you can push back and you can either ask for more money, you can ask for extended health insurance coverage, you can ask for things like career support, career counseling, or job placements. Anything is possible as long as you ask. The worst thing that can happen is they say no, and then you go your separate ways, or they say no and you review your options. But make sure you review the severance before you sign it. Make sure you seek professional counsel before you sign it, and try to get as much value from the company before you go your separate ways forever. Third tactic to explore is the quick cash generating options, and things like selling unused items on Facebook Marketplace or Kijiji. So go through your house, go through your garage. If you have items that you don't need, items that you haven't used in a very long time ago, or items that are of no value to you anymore that could be valuable to someone else, sell them on Facebook Marketplace and just get like a few bucks for it. The next thing you want to do is either explore gig work on either Uber Eats, Skip the Dishes, Instacart, all those deliveries. Those are quite flexible. You can work at your own pace and just to get some cash, or just to get your mind off from being idle or doing nothing. And you're also a professional, right? You've gained several years of experience, which people might pay for. So check what the available options are on freelance websites like Upwork or Fiverr. So you can work flexibly at your times and charge as much money as you can for the amount of experience that you've gathered so far. And you can also reach out to temp staffing agencies like Randstad or Robert Half. These are agencies that assign temporary workers or on a short-term basis to different companies, and they have job opportunities coming in on a daily basis. So see what's available, see what piques your interest, and tailor your CV accordingly to get into those temp roles, just to get some money flowing through your bank account. For this next tactic, I'm going to advise a lot of caution because it involves you tapping into your savings. So far, if you have an RRSP, you can draw down from your RRSP, but remember that when you withdraw from an RRSP before your retirement age, you're going to pay some taxes on it. So I'll be very cautious about tapping into your RRSP. But if you have a TFSA, you can withdraw from your TFSA, and it gets added to your next year's TFSA limit. So you can do that. If you have a home, you can explore a home equity line of credit or HELOC. But I'll be very cautious about taking out a line of credit on your home at this stage because it's still an early period of your job loss. If you have a credit card, you can also lean on your credit card to cover your expenses, but don't forget that your credit card has a high interest rate. So if you are tapping into your credit card, you should also have a plan to repay that back. So don't lean too much on your credit card. Don't live on credit if you can avoid it. And the last point is leaning into your friends and family network. There's a popular saying that our network is our net worth. So if you have a healthy supporting group around you, group of friends, group of family that you can lean on, and they'll honestly and lovingly support you through this difficult period, try as much as you can to lean on them for support, for financial support. Be honest and truthful with your situation and see how far they can come through for you. So we've set up our survival budget, but it doesn't end there. Remember that a budget is a living, breathing document. So you need to keep looking at your budget. You need to keep revising your budget. You need to keep working with your budget. So on a weekly basis, take this your survival budget, review your expenses, see how much you've spent, see how much you've done so far, see where monies are coming from a different couple of sources that we've discussed earlier on in the video. Remember those sources we talked about? Review these on a weekly basis. Another thing you must keep track of is the number of jobs you've applied to. This is one of the key requirements to keep receiving employment insurance. So it's not just about collecting employment insurance. You also need to prove to the government that you've taken steps in looking for work. That means you need to keep records of the interviews you've attended. You need to keep records of the number of job applications you've sent. That is the name of the companies, the job titles you've applied for. These records are very, very handy. You also need to keep a record of your travel history. So if you travel out of Canada, for any period of time while you are on employment insurance, your insurance will be suspended until you get back into the country. So record keeping at this stage is very, very important. At this stage, we're going to talk about something that most people don't really consider, and that is the psychological toll, the emotional burden of living on a survival budget. Don't forget, it's a survival budget, so there's no room for comfort in there. This can bring some form of pain. It can make you feel ashamed. It can make you doubt yourself, but you're not alone. Losing your job can be humiliating. It can make you withdraw into depression. It can make you doubt yourself, but don't let it get to you. See it as just a phase in life. You will rebound and get into something much, much bigger, something much better ahead. If you've built a healthy family and friends network, if you have a support system, now is the time to lean into your support system. If you're a person of faith, someone who believes in a supernatural, someone who believes in God or in any higher power that you believe in, now is also the time to lean into your faith and just draw strength from things that are beyond you to get you through this difficult period. Don't forget that you don't need to suffer in silence. There are mental health resources available. Always reach out to somebody, someone you trust, someone you believe in, and I'm pretty sure that there will be help available to you. So there's no sugarcoating it. Losing your job is hard, it's difficult, but with the right strategy and with the right survival budget, you can take back control of your life and get things onto a steady phase until your next opportunity. Now remember that this is temporary. This phase that you're in is a very temporary process, and everyone who's rebuilt after a layoff started from somewhere. So use this as your starting point to build back your career better after this layoff. If this video has helped you in any way, please like and subscribe to this channel. I have more exciting content coming up for you guys in the coming weeks. In the comments, let me know what your biggest financial concerns are after a layoff, or just let me know if you've gone through a layoff and the tips you use to get yourself through. I'll read through all those comments. I'll be active in the comments and just let you know my thoughts as well. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye and have a great day.